There was a massive thunderstorm at night. And by listening to the thunder, I was very happy that I didn't stay outside in the tent. In the morning, the rain stopped. And I even got a wonderful breakfast. Soon, I could continue my journey. When I left the guest house, guests of the same hotel picked me up in their car, and they took me to Queralbs, where I turned off the trail yesterday. First, I had to fill up water, and there was a water point in the center of the village. Queralbs, like many villages with stone buildings in the Pyrenees, was absolutely charming. The village was first mentioned in history in 836. Leaving Queralbs, I looked back at the large ravine that I crossed yesterday evening to get to the accommodation. After yesterday's hard hike, today was more of a rest day. The plan was to reach Dorria from Queralbs, which was about 18 kilometers away. Today I also had to climb up, but compared to yesterday, it shouldn't have been much. The trail was not only overgrown, but also quite steep and rocky. In addition, the rain had made it slippery. But despite this, I had to hurry, because a storm was approaching. I could already see the rainstorms in the distance, and it was only a matter of time before they will reach me. I noticed a sign to a spring on the side of the trail, but at that time I still had enough water. During the night, when the storm was raging, I looked at the weather forecast for today. Since the storm was expected again in the afternoon, I decided to book a hotel for the next night as well. It was quite expensive, and it was about an hour walk from the trail. However, considering that these days were holidays, because Catalonia Day was celebrated, all the accommodations were fully booked. And I had no choice but to book the only available massive 4-bed room near Dorria. The trail was full of cattle, and if the calves and cows went aside, then the bull standing on the trail refused to do so. So, not wanting to be gored on the bull's horns, I crawled up the edge and went around him with a thorough bend. In some point I realized that I was already about 15 minutes behind schedule, but it was clear that this time would increase. Yesterday's marathon downhill had overloaded my feet, and I had gotten quite a few blisters, which made walking really difficult. That's why I didn't manage to fit in the planned time today. When I left the forest at an altitude of 2000 meters, the cold wind made me put on a thicker jacket. I found and filled up water. Looking back, I noticed that the trail actually goes uphill, not down the road. For the first time I saw such a mushroom picking basket combined with a walking stick. On the other side of the gorge, the trail was relatively easy to walk, and I didn't notice any cattle there either. Despite my efforts to escape the rain, storm clouds were rapidly approaching me. As always, I choose not the easiest path, but the original path. Trying to escape the storm, I decided not to visit the village of Planoles, which was not far from the trail, but to go straight to Dorria. I also had enough food, so there was no need to delay. On the stretch from Planoles to Dorria, there was nothing extraordinary to see. But the trail was easy to walk, and it gave relief to my tired feet. There were plenty of berries along the trail. A small dose of sugar is a great way to improve your mood. The storm passed and the sun began to shine instead. I began to regret that I had booked a room, but by then it was too late to change anything. In the distance, I noticed some kind of village on the mountain. Looking at the map, I found out that it was Dorria. Dorria has only 17 people and it's second highest village in the Pyrenees. Moreover, the road to it led quite a way around the mountain ridge. Although at that time I was more worried that there was still at least 4 kilometers to go to the accommodation. It is easier to cross such rivers in Gore-Tex boots than to look for a detour or take off your shoes. Dorria was soon within reach. Despite the beauty of its church, Dorria struggles to survive in the face of depopulation, farm abandonment and isolation. However, thanks to some stubborn people who want to continue making a living from the crops and animals, the village survives. I managed to arrange transportation to the guest house, and the owner came to pick me up with his private car. In addition, the guest house also had a restaurant, where I had delicious dinner. The day was short, but well spent.